wearing a face mask.
Over 8% polling recorded till 9 a.m. in the second phase of elections for Bihar Assembly. Voting underway in 94 constituencies spread across 17 districts. 1,463 candidates in fray. Voting also being held for Assembly by-polls for 54 seats in 10 states. Prime Minister Modi appeals to all voters to practice social distancing while exercising their franchise. Campaigning for third phase of Bihar Assembly polls intensifies. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds rallies in Araria and will be holding a rally in Saharsa today. BJP's JP Nadda and Yogi Adityanath hold rallies to woo voters. RJD's Tejasvi Yadav and LJP's Chirag Paswan also hold campaign rallies. Navies of the Quad countries, India, United States, Australia and Japan to participate in Malabar 2020 maritime exercise in Bay of Bengal from today. 4-day-long naval exercise will be a non-contact, at-sea only drill to be conducted in 2 phases. India slams Pakistan for supporting cross-border terrorism, taking advantage of COVID-19 situation. First Secretary of India's permanent mission at the United Nations, Ashish Sharma, calls on Pakistan to eschew all sectarian violence, discrimination and intolerance against their own people. Republican candidate President Donald Trump and his opponent Democrat Joe Biden engaged in last-minute canvassing as the United States all gear up for presidential polls today. Over 97 million early votes cast already. Shooting reported from 6 locations, wounding many people in central Vienna and Austria. 3 people, including 1 attacker, killed while area cordoned off and large police deployment underway. Government describes it as a repulsive terrorist attack. Prime Minister Modi expresses grief over loss of lives in Vienna terror attack. Prime Minister says India stands with Austria during this tragic time. US President Donald Trump also expresses grief. Good morning. You're watching DD News and I'm Preeti presenting the bulletin. In the next half an hour, we'll get an account of everything that's been making it to the headlines. First, we get you updates from poll-bound state of Bihar. In Bihar, voting is underway for the second phase of assembly elections today. Polling is being held for 94 constituencies spread over 17 districts in this phase. Over 2.85 crore voters will decide the political future of 1,463 candidates. Polling will continue till 6 p.m. Adequate security arrangements have been put in place, particularly in the Naxal-infested areas, to ensure trouble-free polling. In Patna district alone, 15,000 paramilitary forces have been deployed at different polling stations. And 19.3% polling has been recorded till 11 a.m. in the second phase of elections for Bihar Assembly. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has appealed to the people to come out in large numbers to vote and make the festival of democracy a success. He added that social distancing and wearing a mask are mandatory. He also urged those voting in seats where by-polls are taking place to vote in large numbers and strengthen the festival of democracy. Bihar Governor Fagu Chauhan cast his vote for the second phase of Bihar elections at polling booth at a government school in Digha in Patna. Speaking to media persons, he appealed to the people to participate in election in large numbers. The governor hoped that voting percentage will be more than the previous time.
बिहार के लोगों को यही अपील करेंगे कि लोकतंत्र के पर्व में बढ़ चढ़ के हिस्सा लें और वैसे भी बिहार जो है सबसे आगे है। जब हम लोग समझ रहे थे कि बहुत कम वोट पड़ेगा कोरोना के नाते, लेकिन फिर भी 54-55% वोट पड़ा। अब की बार मुझे उम्मीद है इससे भी ज़्यादा वोट पड़ेगा।
Deputy Chief Minister Sushil Kumar Modi also cast his vote at a polling booth in Rajendra Nagar in Patna. He urged people to step out of their homes, cast their votes, maintain social distancing and keep wearing a mask. LJP President Chirag Paswan also cast his vote at a polling booth in Khagaria. Former Bihar Chief Minister Rabri Devi and RJD Chief Ministerial candidate Tejasvi Yadav filed their votes for Bihar Polls in Patna. Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar cast his vote at a government school in Digha. In a message to voters for the poll day, the Election Commission of India has urged people to check their name on the voter list by calling the helpline number 1950 or the voter helpline app or the NVSP portal. Also, the Election Commission has advised the people to carry their documents. When we talk of the documents, they need to carry the iCard, identity card or any identity document with them. Also, polling booths are equipped with hand sanitizers and staff members are provided with masks, face shields, gloves and other personal protective equipment. The Election Commission has also provided single-use gloves for voters who will use electronic voting machines. Thermal screening is also being done at all the poll activity sites and also masks are mandatory. And high-octane campaigning is continuing in Bihar for the third and final phase of polling. Leaders across political parties crisscross the state to garner support for their candidates. For the BJP, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a rally in Araria, where he said that today people are choosing development and law and order over nepotism, corruption and Gunda Raj in Bihar.
आज बिहार में परिवारवाद हार रहा है, जनतंत्र फिर से जीत रहा है। आज बिहार में रंगबाजी और रंगदारी हार रही है, विकास फिर से जीत रहा है। आज बिहार में अहंकार हार रहा है और परिश्रम फिर से जीत रहा है।
Besides assembly elections in Bihar, by-elections are also being witnessed in 56 other assembly seats in 11 states this week. Voting to fill 54 vacant seats in the state assemblies is being held today, while voting for 2 seats in Manipur will be held on November 7th. Voting is underway for 28 seats in Madhya Pradesh, 1 seat each in Chhattisgarh, Haryana, Telangana, 8 seats of Gujarat, 2 seats each in Jharkhand, Karnataka, Nagaland and Odisha, and 7 seats of Uttar Pradesh. Also on November 7th, elections will be held for Valmiki Nagar Lok Sabha seat in Bihar, along with the third phase of polling for assembly elections in the state. Counting for all the seats will be taken up on November 10th. The 24th edition of Malabar Naval exercise is scheduled in 2 phases in November. Phase 1 of the exercise Malabar 20 involves participation by Indian Navy, United States Navy, Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force and Royal Australian Navy, and is set to commence off Visakhapatnam in Bay of Bengal from 3rd of November till 6th of November. The exercise is being conducted as a non-contact at-sea only exercise in view of the COVID-19 pandemic, and this will showcase a high level of synergy and coordination between the friendly navies, which is based on their shared values and commitment to an open, inclusive Indo-Pacific and a rules-based international order. India has slammed Pakistan for supporting cross-border terrorism, taking advantage of the COVID-19 situation. First Secretary of India's permanent mission at the UN, Ashish Sharma said that the world has come to a standstill due to COVID-19, but Pakistan has continued to support cross-border terrorism, taking advantage of the pandemic. Speaking at the interactive dialogue with a special report here on contemporary forms of racism and other related intolerance, Ashish Sharma said that Pakistan is trying to create divisions among the religious communities as well.
While the world has come to a standstill due to the pandemic, but Pakistan has only enhanced support to cross-border terrorism, taking advantage of the pandemic. Pakistan is trying to create divisions among our religious communities as well. Fortunately, their provocation is falling on deaf ears, since India has had a tradition of pluralism and coexistence where all communities live in harmony under a democratic framework. We call on Pakistan to practice coexistence in their own country and eschew all sectarian violence, discrimination and intolerance against their own people. Pakistan has yet again abused this platform to forward its nefarious political agenda. I condemn the comments made by the representative of Pakistan.
As part of Mission Sagar 2, Indian naval ship Airawat entered Port Sudan yesterday. The government of India is providing assistance to friendly foreign countries to overcome natural calamities and COVID-19 pandemic, and also towards the same, INS Airawat is carrying the consignment of 100 tons of food aid for people of Sudan. Mission Sagar 2 follows the first Mission Sagar undertaken in May-June 2020, wherein India reached out to Maldives, Mauritius, Seychelles, Madagascar and Comoros and provided food aid and medicines. As part of Mission Sagar 2, Indian naval ship Airawat will deliver food aid to Sudan, South Sudan, Djibouti and Eritrea. And very quickly, we'll take a look at the update on COVID-19 situation from across the country. 58,323 recoveries were recorded yesterday, taking the cumulative total of recovered patients to 76,03,121. With this, the recovery rate currently stands at 91.96%. India's three-pronged strategy of test, trace and treat is proving to be a success. Fatality rate has dropped to 1.49% with 1,23,097 deaths recorded so far. The number of active COVID-19 cases in India stands at 5,41,405, which is 6.55% of the total cases reported so far. The Government of India's training module for management of COVID-19 named Integrated Government Online Training Portal is making a difference. And according to the Health Ministry, the uniquely designed iGot platform provides self-containing training material for COVID-19 warriors comprising of 56 modules, 196 videos and 133 training documents. So far, more than 19.2 lakh people have completed the course, and certificates have been issued to more than 15 lakh online trainees. As India continues to fight its battle against COVID-19, testing has also ramped up. According to Indian Council of Medical Research, 10,46,247 samples were tested yesterday. With this, a total of 11,17,89,350 samples have been tested so far. And now, up next, we get to the Daily Dose of US Elections 2020. Today is 3rd November, the day when the world's oldest democracy will vote to elect its president. US President Donald Trump is trying his luck again from the Republican Party, while Joe Biden, who is the Vice President of the United States of America, is the presidential candidate for Democratic Party. Voting will begin from 4:30 p.m. according to the Indian Standard Time and will continue till 7:30 a.m. tomorrow. While according to the US time, voting will start at 6 a.m. and will continue till 9 in the night. In many states, polling will begin an hour early at 5 a.m. The voting time has been increased due to COVID-19 pandemic, and US is on course for its highest electoral turnout rate in more than a century. A record of over 9.7 crore people have voted early, more than two-thirds of the number of votes cast in the entire 2016 election. Those who have not voted through early voting will vote today to elect their new president. Texas and Hawaii have already seen bigger voter turnout than the whole of the last presidential election, while the crucial battlegrounds of North Carolina, Georgia and Florida have over 90% of the 2016 turnout. And our U.S. correspondent, Ira Spitzer from California, has this report on the latest updates. Let's listen in.
Dramatic buildup to this election day in the United States. We've already seen more votes cast at this point in the election. Americans have been allowed to vote early as usual, but because of the coronavirus pandemic, there have been already close to 100 million ballots already cast, either through voting by mail or through early voting at polling stations. It would make sense, given the tremendous passion as well as animosity on both sides for their candidates. When you look at the messages coming from the president, Donald Trump, and his challenger, Joe Biden, we really do see a United States that does appear as divided as ever. I think the coronavirus pandemic, which has been raging here for the past 8 months, and we've also seen a surge over the past month or so, another surge, and so that is really mobilizing voters. But of course, that is the reason that, or one of the reasons that voters are not necessarily going to vote in person this year because of health worries about the pandemic. So that is largely why we've seen this surge in early voting, and it is also something that perhaps could be subject to legal challenges because of some of the procedural issues with voting in this way.
And you cannot catch all the latest on the U.S. elections as it happens on DD India. Stay tuned to DD India for a comprehensive, exclusive coverage of the U.S. elections, complete with experts from India and the U.S. and a team of reporters on ground covering coast to coast and everything in between. Don't forget to tune in at 6 p.m. today.
Joe Biden goes head-to-head against Donald Trump. What is at stake in the U.S. election? And why is it important for India and the world? Join us for a 14-hour live coverage of the race for the White House from 6 p.m. on November 3, only on DD India, a billion voices.
And the 14-hour marathon coverage of U.S. presidential elections has been endorsed by elite guests and experts who will be joining the discussion on DD India. Senior Asia defense writer Raji Pillai has said, "That's a marathon exercise and I'm looking forward to it." Former Ambassador of India to Nepal, European Union, Belgium and Luxembourg, Manjeev Puri has said that he will be joining DD India in-depth 14-hour coverage of U.S. presidential election at 10 p.m. on 3rd November and 10 a.m. on 4th November. Professor at the New York University School of Professional Studies Center for Global Affairs, leading the UN specialization, WPS Sidhu has said that he is looking forward to insightful discussions and deliberations on DD News Live, and do tune in to the 14-hour live coverage. Deputy Director of the Asia Program and Senior Associate for South Asia at the Wilson Center, Michael Kugelman, has said that he is looking forward to making a small contribution to this coverage, which features an array of impressive commentators and is led by esteemed Ramesh Ramachandran. Columnist for the Economic Times and long-time watcher of India-US relations, Seema Sirohi, has said that Doordarshan going all out with an army of commentators. So do tune in for this extensive and marathon coverage on the U.S. elections. Up next, we get you inputs on the next big story we're tracking this hour. In Austria, several gunmen with rifles have opened fire in 6 different locations in central Vienna, killing at least 1 person. One of the suspects also was killed in the exchange of fire. The shootings took place near Central Synagogue late on Monday, but it is not yet clear if that was the target. A large area of central Vienna was meanwhile cordoned off. Austrian Chancellor called it a repulsive terror attack. In a tweet, the Austrian Chancellor said that police will take decisive action against perpetrators of this repulsive terror attack. The attack happened just hours before Austria imposed new national restrictions to try to stem the rising cases of COVID-19. Many people were enjoying bars and restaurants, which now must close until end of November. Condemning the terror attacks in Vienna, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has tweeted and echoed him. Deeply shocked and saddened by the dastardly terror attacks in Vienna, India stands with Austria during this tragic time. My thoughts are with the victims and their families. US President Donald Trump has also expressed grief over the incident. In a tweet, he said, and I quote him, "Our prayers are with the people of Vienna after yet another vile attack of terrorism in Europe. These evil attacks against innocent people must stop. The US stands with Austria, France, and all of Europe in the fight against terrorists, including radical Islamic terrorists." And up next, we'll take an update on the COVID-19 situation from across the world. As of now, more than 4.73 lakh COVID-19 cases have been reported, and over 12,11,000 people have succumbed to it. Over 3.40 lakh people have recovered from the virus. The United States continues to top the list among the worst hit countries by the pandemic with the highest number of infections. The US has over 95,67,000 cases of COVID-19, with death toll surging past 2,36,000. World Health Organization Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus has said that a recent spike in COVID-19 cases in some countries in Europe and North America presented leaders with a critical moment for action. Top WHO emergencies expert Mike Ryan said that governments in Europe face a very difficult situation in controlling the rising number of COVID-19 cases as their citizens grow weary with renewed restrictions on daily life. WHO Director General Ghebreyesus said that he had been identified as a contact of someone who tested positive for COVID-19, but added that he was feeling well and did not have any symptoms. Van Kerkhove said that no clusters have been reported in the WHO premises. In the United Kingdom, NHS Hospital Trust in Liverpool has said that it is operating close to capacity as it houses more COVID patients than during the previous peak of the pandemic in April. Liverpool University Hospital is currently treating 463 COVID inpatients, 73 more than the peak of 390 in early April. A third of all the hospital trust's inpatients now have COVID-19, according to the data. Doctors working in the hospital told media on Monday that they were working close to the limits of what their hospitals could deal with. With cases rising, England is heading into a second national lockdown starting this Thursday. Britain has the highest official COVID-19 death toll in Europe with more than 20,000 new cases a day. United Kingdom has over 10.53 lakh COVID-19 cases and more than 46,000 deaths. And from here, we take you live across to Prithvi Bhavan in Delhi, where Union Minister of Earth Sciences, Dr. Harshvardhan, is speaking after releasing the NCAER report on estimating the economic benefits of investment in monsoon mission and high-performance computing facilities.
Virtually from Ministry of Earth Sciences, IMD, National Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasting, and NCS, other representatives from PIB, press people who have joined us today virtually also and physically also in this room. Officials, other officials have been told that all the directors of all the MOES institutions have also joined for this function. Senior scientists who are involved in the monsoon mission as well as the high performance computing facilities in Ministry of Earth Sciences, they have all joined. All the program directors of MOES are also with us today. The representatives from NCAER, they are all here. In fact, this is a very, very privileged moment for me to be part of this function, because I remember a couple of years back, probably it was 2016, here itself I had released a similar report which was worked upon by the National Council of Applied Economic Research, one of the very prestigious bodies where they specialize in this type of job. And I think this is a great way, a scientific way of evaluating your own work, and of course trying to calculate and be happy and satisfied that what are the real outcomes of your outputs that you deliver to through the department, and what are the real benefits to the society, because this is what the Prime Minister has always been stressing. I have also been stressing that whatever we do in science, it should be science for the people, and we should be able to quantify the benefits to the people, because science, if it is only for publication of papers or for journals, it has no benefit for the people. But if it is actually converted into real benefits for the people, and here in this particular case what we are discussing today is the benefit to the farmers and the fishermen, the majority of whom are poor people, and this is one very strong passion area of the Prime Minister and of the present government also. So I'm so happy that this report has been done, and it has been done after a thorough study, and I think the way the experts have gone to a few lakh people, whether it was talking to them at a personal level or whether it was through a telephonic call, voice communication, it in fact speaks volumes about the credibility of the report, because number one, it's from a very, very prestigious institution, and number two, it has been produced after talking to over 2 lakh farmers and other fishermen, etc.
Union Minister for Earth Sciences, Dr. Harshvardhan, speaking in New Delhi after releasing the NCAER report on estimating the economic benefits of investment in monsoon mission and high-performance computing facilities. In the bulletin that follows, we'll get you the highlights of the minister's address. As of now, that's it in the bulletin at this hour. But before we wrap up, a quick reminder of urging you all to join the Mask Up India initiative, which is being run on DD India and DD News. Remember, wearing a mask is the most cost-effective and the most pocket-friendly means by which you can keep yourself and your near and dear ones safe during these COVID times. It's just a simple task: wear a mask, but wear it properly and correctly. Come be a part of Mask Up India initiative. With that, we'll end this bulletin here. Bye-bye.